If you count his childhood home and North Hollywood High, he's also a formerly incarcerated individual. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The choice was going to mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Gray?
That's right.
And Ball Brian is out today. He's getting an infusion, so we hope that's going well for him. But that's all right. We got enough show for the rest of us here.
Almost too much show.
Almost too much show. So Rob Schneider's going to be calling in. He's driving as we speak out from Arizona. He's going to be doing my show tonight with Leno and Sarah Silverman and blah, blah, blah.
An evening of stars.
An evening of stars. So first, things first. I am obsessed with technology or then their sort of lack thereof.
Right.
You know, we have smartphones and space shuttles and we're launching Teslas to the orbit, but yet certain things we haven't figured out.
Right.
I have lamented this many times, but it's been a while. So here goes. I have a loaner car because I'm having problems with my car that nobody can figure out, that keeps stopping and going dead, and they keep picking it up on a flatbed, and then they keep it for a week or two, and then they bring it back, and then it works again for 4 days, and then it happens again, and then they pick it up again.
And this is a computer issue. If not, your guys could just deal with it.
Probably, but with new cars, all bets are off.
No
but
wrenching.
Something. Anyway, they dropped off a much lesser SUV that is black with a black interior. And it's been 103 degrees out here, and that car is parked in an open blacktop parking lot.
Oh, frosty.
And when I get inside that thing, I park it at 10 o'clock when I get here. I go out there at 4:30. It is well over 150 degrees inside of the car. And, look, anyone who's been out, let's just say, I remember taking a bus ride for a bachelor party to Vegas, and we stopped at the world's biggest thermometer, whatever, over there in Baker. And it was like 118 degrees outside, and we went into a truck stop and cooled off and
got some alien jerky.
Got some alien jerky and some Greek food or something. I remember walking outside at 115, 118 degrees, and it was like a blast furnace.
Yes.
Anyone who's been in Palm Springs or Death Valley when it's 120 degrees, you realize how brutal it is. This 153 degrees inside of the car. You burn your hands on the steering wheel. The seat's black. You burn your ass on that. The knobs, which are made of like a knurled metal.
Oh, boy.
They stay hot. Like, you can blow all the air you want, but it's like taking a spoon and putting it over an open flame or a skillet that's been on the stove for a while. You can dunk it in cold water.
No.
Go ahead and touch it 5 minutes later. It's still hot. So you're burning your fingers on the buttons and the knobs. It's 150 degrees. Now you have to get into some weird zone where you have to start planning. Like, when we finish today, I'm going to hightail it off to Malibu because I got to turn it around and get out to the Improv on Melrose, and it's a lot of driving. It's a lot of time. I can't run out of the studio, jump in the car, and take off.
No, somebody's got to get that shit revved up.
I got to fire that shit up, roll the windows down, run that car, wait 10 minutes. Now you're in this weird zone of, do I stand by my car in the sun for 10 minutes? Or do I go back inside the building and just leave it open in today's world in Los Angeles where everyone is grabbing everything from inside of everyone's car? They'll probably think it's a bait car because the fucking thing's going to be running with the windows down. Like, a savvy thief would not go near that car. But every time this comes up, I go, it's 2022. Yeah. This car doesn't have it. I got a black label flagship Lincoln SUV. It doesn't have it. No, none of them have the Recirc Air thing except for Gary and his goddamn Tesla. Gary's Tesla, parked in the same place I'm parked, When it hits 100 degrees, a recirc fan kicks on and vents the car.
When the car's off?
When the car is off. Now, it's an all-electric car, so it's got the battery power to do it. Obviously, it uses battery power. The newer Teslas, they say, are going to have a thing. Oh, and Gary's Tesla also has a thing. He's driving the Model 3. It's under 50 grand. Imagine this utopia. He plugs the shit in at his house, gets a full charge, then, goes down to the Costco up the street, parks it, goes inside for 90 minutes. He can set that shit for 68 degrees.
Oh, fuck.
Now, it's going to use the battery,
Minty
but
fresh.
he doesn't need the whole battery to get home. Am I right, Gary?
Yeah, if you're not going to Palm Springs, you're just tooling around town, you can leave that thing running for an hour. You'll lose 4% of battery.
The car's secure, right? And could you imagine going down to like the Burbank Costco on a day like today, going in and tooling around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then coming back out to a 68-degree car?
I cannot. Not in January?
Because our choices now, especially if you're driving a fucking black on black and it's parked out in the goddamn Costco, you got your kids. I don't know if you got your dog. Like, you got to get in there, fire it up, and then stand in the parking lot or go back in and get a hot dog off the cart. Like, what the fuck? And why do we not have this in it's like a Bentley SUV? Like, you get those things loaded up, they're 300 grand.
You have a Bentley SUV right now?
Goddamn. No, I don't.
Okay.
The point
I thought you were saying that was the shitty version.
I'm saying one of those Bentley SUVs, when you get them fully loaded, could be knock on the door, 300 grand.
Oh, boy.
Probably more sold in Los Angeles than all of Arkansas.
What?
It's 103 degrees out here. They get them in black all the time.
It's dumb.
Or you get the Lambo Huracan SUV. It's $327. It doesn't have this.
Yeah.
So you could be parked at a Costco and my childhood car, my mom's 68 Dodge Dart that somebody got on eBay for $300 could be parked next to it. There'd be the exact same temperature.
The great equalizer.
When you climbed into that car.
Yeah.
Now, once you got in the car, you got Alcantara leather and burl walnut on the dash and a 200 speaker sound system. But the temp in that car,
same.
I don't care if you're the biggest rap producer in the world. You're burning your fucking ass the same way my mom was in 1981 in that car.
They don't want to know that. I do hear what you're saying, and I will translate it, and I will risk my friendship with Gary to say, yes, you can borrow Gary's car tonight.
Jesus H. Christ. I got some temp breakdowns because I went on a rampage.
We're digging deeper.
I think it is after an hour on a day where the sun is shining and your car's parked out of the shade, it's 43 degrees hotter than whatever the outdoor temperature is. After 90 minutes, it's 48 degrees. So it goes up 5 degrees in that 90 minutes. Now, they don't have the data online, but my car's sitting for 5.5 hours. So if you can incrementally go up about 5 degrees every half hour. So I don't know if it keeps climbing at the same level, but what I'm saying is my car out in the sun for 5 hours is hotter than your car in 90 minutes. And if you add 48 to 102,
that's cookie bacon.
You're
temps.
already to $1.50.
Yeah.
Now I'm probably to $1.61. I mean, what the fuck? How come this isn't a thing? And again, I get it if you're buying, an Econo Yaris shitbox or something, but for cars that are well over 100 grand.
But maybe besides you, it's a self-selecting group. Like those people don't complain because they're parked underground or they're not doing their own Costco run. Do they just not confront it as much?
I'm guessing a fair amount of them live in Malibu. It's 30 degrees cooler.
Yeah, nice and breezy.
They all have covered parking.
Yeah.
And they probably send people to go on their Costco runs. But
why can't you send someone over 10 minutes early to sit in the car and they can burn themselves?
I could.
I think you should.
And I probably won't, but I could. But I'm still paying somebody to go sit in my car and melt.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on the pet or the kid that's left behind.
Well, that's how you end up on Oprah.
I mean, yeah, or Nancy Grace even.
Oh, don't get me started with those mothers.
But what about the recirc, Nancy? Wouldn't that be a plus?
Are you talking about that show where all the crazy French people with the paint go on and wave their penises around? Because that is what leads to the debauchery that has become this country.
You're thinking of puppetry of the penis and Cirque du Soleil.
What are you talking about?
Recirculating the air.
Oh, that sounds refreshing. You know who does that? Sometimes they do that in the shed that the predator has out back that he keeps the teenage girl in.
Well,
so
obviously,
that's why you got to lock your doors at night.
You could still be obviously abducted if you left the kid in the car, but the kid wouldn't melt. You wouldn't have to break the window.
6 in one, half dozen in the other, Adam Carolla. If your kid's dead, your kid's dead.
So why not fucking integrate that into cars with all the goddamn technology that's going on? Think about you're driving your car now. It's got a sensor everywhere when you change lanes.
Yep. Even I have that.
It'll apply the brake for you
Yes.
when you're coming up too close on a car. Don't tell me we don't have the technology. Now, it would add a price. You'd have to have a secondary battery in the trunk, and you'd have to have the recirc fan.
Right.
You wouldn't even need to do what Gary's car does, which run the air conditioning pump.
Right.
Just whole house fan it. Just recirc it.
Yeah, we have been talking about that.
Do it on a solar panel. Have the roof have a little solar strip and just run this fan that just vents the car out.
Seems quite doable. I have a slightly more poor man's suggestion. Why don't we have screen doors on car windows? Because they make the knife-proof kind. Because we used to hawk them on KFI.
Really?
Yeah, they have the slash-proof screens so you can leave your door open on a summer's night.
Oh, in your home.
That's right. So why don't we put those in the window and just roll the windows down?
They have shades you can pull down on nicer cars.
Yeah, why don't you just spend the $15 and get those?
I'm sort of with you. So I mean, you put the thing in the dashboard, the big piece of cardboard
That's
up.
good for 12 degrees.
Put the side shade and you do all that, and you go from 161 to 157 and a half.
Right.
You're still fucking broiling your ass off inside that car.
We'll get to it, car makers. And speaking of which, we have a heartbreaking car recall that I'm going to get to in the news.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rob Schneider's going to be calling in as well. There are some cars like the Rivian, but that's like $150,000 and
What's
2-year wait. It's a new all-electric SUV. They're coming out with an SUV. They have an electric truck.
Who makes it? Who is it?
Rivian.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. The Toyota Prius has a solar panel ventilation system.
Okay. So Chris
utilizes electric fan to draw in circuit, whatever. And it goes, when it goes over when it's parked and the cabin temperature goes over 68. Oh, that seems low. There's some electric cars that are making some moves, but I'm just saying
overall,
it's 2022. Let's make it let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you're going to be dealing these things in Prescott, Arizona, or Beverly Hills, California, or Tarzana, California,
all over the Southwest.
You've got all the high rollers in Texas now.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about where these big time SUVs are going, they're going to California, Arizona, and Texas. All 155 degrees when people climb back into that car. All right, Rob Schneider's on line one. Rob?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Where are you right now?
I'm on that beautiful 10, that gorgeous stretch of highway between Arizona and California, that beautiful, it's a dump, I'll be honest with you. It's a hellhole. I'm stuck here. I had to get out. If you can afford to get out of California, you get out. Right?
I concur. How long's the drive from where you are to the Improv?
It's from where there's no life at all in the middle of the desert to get to the Improv. I would say about 5 hours, going about 85. You know what? It's just one of those things. You know that you go to the gas station and you come out and said, "Who's the idiot spilling gas everywhere?"
Right.
And I go, "God, what kind of idiot?" And anyway, it was my car. I had a napkin, that was filling up the tank, so I wouldn't touch my delicate little clean hands. Mm-hmm. And then the napkin got stuck in the thing, so it just poured gas everywhere.
It struck me that when everyone switches over to an electric vehicle, we're all going to miss the gas station experience.
We're going to miss it?
Well, miss out
Yeah.
on the gas station experience, sort of like my kid will never know a football coach who cusses at them,
Calls them
and
ladies.
tells them their last easy day was yesterday. Like whatever,
Yeah.
however that motivates you.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the surly, steel-eyed foreigner guy screaming "pump number 3" at you over and over again.
That's true.
You're not going to.
You're not going to have the sleeveless T-shirt.
Yeah.
The guy with the shorts and flip-flops, and he's totally sunburned and has like different, has the 4th degree of skin cancer and just hasn't seen anybody about it. That's the stuff, real life stuff you miss.
Yeah, you're not going to. What about this delicate dance of trying to pick out the right Snickers bar and or the pack of cigarettes? No, ultralight. No, those are menthol. No,
Yeah,
not
one more.
Down.
The Pall Malls?
Down. Yeah, you're not going to have that experience. You're not gonna know about the cornucopia of potential jerkies you could be eating.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, they make an ostrich jerky.
That's
I
right.
didn't even know that. Yeah, we're going to miss out. My kids are not going to know
They do
that
have
world.
such interesting junk now. You go in there and you can buy bracelets, kids' toys. There's pool things. You can take a trucker shower for $10.
Right.
They've really got it. The side of the road is a very important part of American culture that we should miss. It's like your grandparents missed it because they weren't allowed to pump gas.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was,
Like New
That was a
Jersey.
1970s thing. That
Yeah.
came in the 70s.
Yeah, they had to sit.
Right?
They sat in the car. Some guy with a bow tie would
Yeah.
come running out, and he would check the oil, and he would pump the gas. He'd check the tire pressure.
Damn!
And then he'd hand you a roll of blue chip trading stamps.
What?
You were paid
right.
in stamps.
This sounds like a utopia.
I would love, you know what I'd like to do with my kids? I would like to go back to Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley. I remember like the Phillips 66 on the corner my grandparents would go. I would like to show them the guy who worked at that gas station from 1967 versus the guy who's there
Oh,
today.
boy.
The guy with the fucking wife beater and the gravy on it.
Get the bends.
The guy's got the Lebanese flag tattooed on his upper arm and is screaming at everyone. That guy.
And they won't let you use the bathroom.
No,
They
not
won't
for
let you
you.
use the
No,
bathroom.
no, we have
For
no.
customer only. You tell us
Yeah.
for customer only.
Yeah. If you do get the key would have a keychain on it that would be a truck tire.
Yes.
You have to like roll it over there. I would like to show them.
I know.
This is the guy who runs the gas station now. This is what the guy used to look like. Bow tie, hat, looked like
His name's Jim.
Looked like John Boy from the Waltons.
And you could show them also that the pollution in Los Angeles was worse in the late 70s than it is now.
Yeah.
Air pollution.
Oh yeah, we'd have
was
smog
that-
days. Yeah. That guy could
Yeah,
come
so
running
I mean-
out,
Oh.
check the tire pressure.
Call you sir.
Ma'am and sir. I would also like to juxtapose the old-timey Los Angeles, same era, 1967, ice cream man versus
The rape van?
the Armo from the Glendale guy who got his van with grandma's attic up
Yeah.
top and stuck a bunch of stickers on the side
Plays
of it.
Ring Around the Rosie off
And a
key.
broken down, yeah.
I'm surprised everybody in the neighborhood wasn't picked up and kidnapped in because any truck, there was people taking pictures and photographs. We would get in that car and that van who came by the neighborhood. Any van, we didn't even think twice about it. Ice cream, let's go. You had to come inside. Why wouldn't we? It was that was the era. I'm just surprised that nobody. I guess criminals finally caught on to the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, we can really. You could snatch people now.
Well,
But
think
it was
of-
just.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. I mean, it wasn't. Look, the good humor guy, that was a job.
Like
That
a
was
career.
That was a career for an adult.
Yeah.
You had your change belt on. First off, anyone had that change belt, you ruled the roost. You would be the most popular human being I grew up with. It could be empty.
Sure.
Just having that, I'm going to make some change.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it from right above my balls.
You got the nifty wedge cap.
Wedge cap, bow
Bow
tie.
tie.
Now, I don't even, by the way, I'll make change. I don't even have to look down.
Oh shit.
I just know where
You
the
can
nickel
feel
and the
it.
dime is. Man, pow, pop, pop. You just bought yourself a bomb pop. Boom. You gave me $1. Here we go. Pop, pop. There you go. There's your 18 cents.
That guy also
swagger.
He had his keys that were attached to his body by a chain that went back and forth.
Yeah.
That's impressive, too. And the same guy.
And the rig was spotless.
Oh, yeah.
White, well kept. Probably kept it at home.
Washed it every morning.
Washed it, wiped it down every morning. Hey, speaking of kids, you got a movie here, which is called Daddy-Daughter Trip. Just wrapped production.
That's right. I had to make something, because my wife literally won't let any of my old movies, let my kids see any of the old movies, like Goose Bigelow or The Hot Chick or anything. So I had to make one that they could go see. So it's a really nice little movie, and it's coming out. We're opening it in Arizona first, and in this state, because that's where we filmed it. So it's in Harkins Theaters. That's September 30th, October 1st is the opening weekend. And it's fun. I mean, I got to make a movie. Basically, it's just it's like a poor guy who, can't take his kid on a vacation anywhere on a spring break trip. And, she's embarrassed. She's a second grader. She's embarrassed because all her friends are going somewhere. So she lies and says she's going to all these cool places for spring break. And the dad decides to take her anyway without any money.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they go to she said, where are we going, Dad? We're going to get wet? Maybe. And he takes her, we're going to a water park, kind of, and he takes her to a car wash.
Who did you film this with? Did you cast the daughter?
Yeah, my own little girl, Miranda. I put her in it, and then Adam Sandler's wife, Jackie Sandler's in it. John Cleese, Monty Python, my hero, in it. So we had a really, really good time making the movie. I got Monica Huarte. She's a big comedy star from Mexico, and another guy from Spain who's really great. So he's really good. Miguel Angel Munoz. What a cool name that is, huh?
Yeah, John Cleese, not Cleese. Not correcting you, Rob.
Cleese,
I'm just
like
saying.
cheese.
Cheese, Cleese.
Cleese, yeah.
Cleese, like cheese.
That's his real name. His real name was Cheese, and his dad changed it. That's a true story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It really was Cheese.
Yeah.
And he said he would have preferred to have Cheese because, what better comedy name is there than that?
Yeah, I had a funny story about John Cleese. Obviously, he's a hero to all in comedy.
Sure.
And I interviewed him about a year ago, and I said, "Do you consider yourself smart or funny? Which one first? Like, what do you think?" And he went, "That is the most. I've never thought about that. It's the most interesting question I've ever been asked." And he thought about it for a long time, and then he answered. You can listen to it on the archives. But then when I was done interviewing him, I've never met him. He did it over the phone. My people said, "John wants to talk to you." John thought that was a fantastic interview, and he'd like to talk to you. And can we give him your number? I said, "Oh, this is great." Then I never heard from him. Oh. And a couple of weeks ago, I got a text from John Klaus, who's a guy I knew from 20 years ago, like a neighborhood guy wanted to borrow something from me. And I just looked down and went, John Klaus. I was like, CL, I don't know any John Klaus. I haven't heard from John Klaus in a million years. Yeah. And they were like,
There was a goat behind window number 2.
I've known him for years, and he's never said one thing nice to me like that. So you're in a good place.
Yeah, although he quickly forgot about it. But John Cleese has been making the rounds, talking about free speech and comedy, and he's been kind of a hero, kind of old school guy piping up.
Oh yeah, no, he is. I mean, he doesn't understand. Like it's not like that. You and I became these we're called right wing conservatives just because the liberals don't know what to do with us. Because we do believe in free speech. Because we do stand for what real liberalism is, which is freedom of choice. The freedom to decide what you want to do with your own body, what you want to keep a government away. There is like the true liberalism, gay rights, women's rights. This is traditional liberal values that all of a sudden, just because it doesn't go far enough, we get we get thrown into this because they don't know what to do with us.
Yeah.
The labeling of right wing. Whereas John Cleese agrees with us 95% of everything. It's just that I just think he's got to sit down and listen to you for an hour, and then he'll be on our side of the fence completely.
Yeah, I don't know where he is, but there are guys like him and Bill Maher. I actually forgot to tell Chris, but his last show, he did that whole, his ending rants have been brilliant, but did a whole thing on what happened. Being fat is bad. Why are we shaming people who point this out? You know, doctors can't weigh you anymore, or you can request them not to weigh. It's like, it's a health issue. Well, that's why you're at the doctor.
No, it is a health issue. You know, the thing is, if any weight is healthy, then you're saying anorexic people are healthy too? Any weight? So what it is just like, you have to be able to call people on their bullshit. You have to be able to say, and the idea that just to accept everybody completely as it is lunacy. And so you're really having, you're having like with kids, you end up with kids surrounded by plexiglass because we're worried about the teacher.
But bigger picture. If somebody is obese and it's a health, I mean, it's just, as Bill said, you don't see fat 90-year-olds, you know what I mean? Like by the way, the longevity thing is about really being kind of underweight now. But the point is this, whether it's not shaming the kid who's morbidly obese or lowering the math scores for the Black and Hispanic community, are you doing them a service, I guess is my question. If the kid's going to walk around and he can't do basic math and he's fat, what the fuck kind of life is that? Who are we helping here?
Well, it's that old adage, you're only cheating yourself.
Right. Who do we love these kids? Right. Don't we love these kids? Who's on their side? No, I want school choice. I like kids.
It's such a desperation by the illiberal liberals to just be accepted and want to be loved. It's a bunch of pussies. I'm sorry to say.
It's 100% really right.
It's ass kissy, this and that, and it's afraid to piss anybody off for any reason. It's like, enough already. Look, you have a 50% failure in the biggest school district in the nation, the LA Unified. We have a 50% dropout. There's 20,000 kids this school year, starting in a week. This school year, they don't know where they are. They dropped out of the system. 20,000? What's going to happen? What life are these kids going to have?
Right.
And I don't know if it's going to be any better if they would have graduated anyway, just with how low the standards are in these schools.
Oh, we are. God, there's some stat. Maybe Chris can find it, but California is second to last in terms of how kids are doing.
Oh, boy.
Because we shut the schools down the longest. Now, here's my point in this conversation. I said don't shut the schools down. I know assholes on the left said because I don't like kids or because I don't like teachers.
The school district said it.
Now, yes, the fucking LA Unified did it. Now these kids are committing suicide. They've gained 20 pounds. They're all fucking depressed, and half of them are scattered to the wind. We'll never get them back. So who loves the kids, you fucking hypocrite pussies? Listen, you don't give shit to people that tell you to fuck off immediately. That's what these cowards certainly know. Thank you very much, Rob Schneider, and I'll see you tonight. Give my love to Bill.
See you.
And
will do, but Gina, you're the best, and thanks for pitching in so much on this interview.
Oh,
all right,
thanks, buddy.
I will say that Rob can be found in Arlington, Texas. By the way, at the Arlington Improv Comedy Club. That'll be August 19th through the 21st. And you can go to his website, see more dates, robschneider.com.
And something that never comes up about Rob, because he's just a doting dad off the air, but one of his kids is one of my favorite singers of all time, Elle King.
That's right.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
It's cool if, Rob can wet his beak a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the finances shake out, but
yeah.
I'm sure he gets good tickets.
Yeah, my kids are burners, not earners at this point. But
right.
The notion of one of them bringing home a paycheck sounds pretty tantalizing. All right, Stephen Ho, comedian, former ER tech who went viral, is going to be on next. First, there's Etsy. Hey there, kiddos. Let me tell you about shopping on Etsy. Well, I love to shop on Etsy because it's affordable. It's one-of-a-kind things made by real people. Whether you're shopping for yourself or for other people, Etsy has home decor, kids' toys, clothing, and jewelry, and so much more at great prices. Instead of the usual mass-produced items, choose something that's completely original as well as affordable. The products you'll find on Etsy Marketplace are made or chosen by real people and sold at great prices. Buying from independent makers and sellers means that you know the stories behind the things you shop for and the people who make them with care and attention to fit your budget. And I think our own producer, Gary, got his sister a laser-etched decanter on Etsy that looks awesome. You'll love it, too. Am I right, Dawson?
New to Etsy? Use code HELLO10 at checkout for 10% off your first purchase. That's code HELLO10. Maximum value of $50. Ends October 31st, 2022. See terms at etsy.com/terms. Extraordinary, handmade, affordable. Etsy has it. Shop Etsy.com.
All right. Well, we'll bring in Stephen Ho. Very interesting story. He's an ER tech, and then he started doing TikTok videos, and then he became the most famous person ever. And we'll talk to him right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Ace Man, get it on. Hey, in regards to Gillette's toxic masculinity campaign, they forgot to mention that they put their name all over a fucking football team. Just a thought. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, it's true. There's no more greater expression of toxic masculinity than the NFL and the Patriots.
A little hypocritical.
Play their 8.5 games a year. Stephen Ho is our guest, comedian, former ER tech. He's got some live dates. We'll get to that. But the story of your rise to fame and success is an interesting one. So why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah. What happened? 2020, I was working in the ER at a hospital in LA. And then, COVID happened, made some TikTok videos. Everybody got really pissed at work, but...
Why were they pissed at work?
They were pissed because when I was making the videos and they were blown up, somebody in the TikTok world found out where I worked and told them this was offensive to people.
In what way?
That I was just, I was making fun of patients in pain, surgery, just everything. They're very sensitive on TikTok. TikTok and just TikTok. Every other platform was fine. But somebody on TikTok found out where I worked and complained. And the organization that I worked for is very particular about what anybody says about them.
Mm-hmm.
Does it rhyme with Movidence?
No.
Okay, just checking which hospital system it is.
No.
Okay.
But so, for example, like when COVID was happening, we had one of our doctors was interviewed by a network TV, and just a couple questions, very casual. They came to her and said, "Hey, you can't do that without media training. Because
Wow.
you represent us." So anything I did, I represented them supposedly because they found out where I worked. This person put the email of the HR's email on one of my posts and just tagged them 1,000,000 times. And somebody even wrote the email out, recorded this whole video, wrote the email out saying like, this guy needs to be fired. He is a bad representation for you. I'm never coming to this place again.
Was it one particular video that caught their ire?
There was a couple. There was a couple of videos. But
What was the theme that was so wildly offensive?
One example, one of them was like thoughts of hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video called Tips from the ER, Thoughts of Hurting Yourself, where I kind of explained what happens when you have thoughts of hurting yourself and come to the ER. Some people thought that I was making fun of people who had thoughts of hurting themselves, people who had SI. But in reality, I wasn't, because there's a lot of comments defending the process of what happens when you come to the ER. But there's just also a lot of people who said that because of this video, I'm not coming in. I'm going to go,
Okay.
unalive myself.
Yeah, then because of you, I'm going to be healthy and stay out of the hospital.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. And SI, like suicidal ideation.
Suicidal ideations.
Oh, man.
tough.
I thought it was Sports Illustrated.
No.
I'm bummed out now. Swimsuited. That's gone the way that fucking dodo.
But don't you think unless you're a really, really, like, no debate bad person, there's a special place in hell for somebody who carves out 2 hours in the day to try to get a stranger fucking fired from their job? Being in radio as long as I have, I can't tell you how many times some random person has tried to get me fired from a career that I have worked so hard for. It's crazy.
Yeah. No,
The dime droppers are. In my world, it's like the way I think, it's the dime droppers that are actually worse than. Like, I'm less angry at the Gestapo members who removed Anne Frank from the attic than I am at the person who dropped the dime.
Yeah.
You can argue the Gestapo guys are just fucking doing their job.
Yeah.
The guys who called, the guy who dropped the dime.
Yeah.
And there is something, in this case, no. In Anne Frank's case, there probably was something in it for his family or whatever it is, but it's... a million years ago when I was talking about God knows what on Loveline, I said that my nephews were all, half German. I think it was someone talking about my white privilege or something, and I was telling them to fuck themselves because I have nothing to do with slavery. My family's from Italy, and they never fucking owned nothing. They were renters, man. They didn't own property or people. They owned nothing. So fucking leave me out of this. And then I said my nephews are half German. Their dad's born in Germany. How responsible are they for the Holocaust? And if the answer is none, well, then apply that to me, assholes.
Yep.
And then someone called my sister and said I compared my nephews to Nazis. Now, who are these people? Who? I've said I yelled on the air the next night, please kill yourself. Please do it. Sorry about the SI.
On TikTok.
Fucking kill yourself. If this is what you do, kill yourself. You're not helping, you're hurting, and obviously you're a serial. This is not the first person. Right. They go after everyone.
Yeah, and you'll never know who they are because that's the whole point.
Right.
You can't figure out who they are, which is why they'll freely say anything they want.
But there's also another point, which I got enough ire to go around. Whether you're, running the hospital administration, whatever, and or you're the program director for the radio station where somebody crossed the line, and or you're running ABC and someone's got some beef with the guy who hosts The Bachelor, you're allowed to tell everyone to fuck off. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Someone could write you a shitty letter saying, this guy's racist. And you go, noted. Anyway, throw it in the trash. Just get the fuck. They'd stop doing it if these cowards stopped acting all the time. It just goes away.
Yeah.
It's whoever, Chris Rose or whoever, whatever.
Harrison?
He handed the roses out. Yeah. The guy hosted The Bachelor. He was canned.
Yeah.
That would have been gone by the next airing.
Right.
It'd just be gone.
The next news cycle.
We'd be sitting around 2 years later going, why is that guy still in that position?
Yeah.
Ugh. Fucking cowards.
Yep.
Sorry. Continue with your story. Rob Schneider got me fired up. Can I say?
Yeah. What was I saying?
So once you got you and the hospital system parted ways.
Yeah. That took about a month. HR was involved. My union reps were involved. They couldn't figure out a reason to actually get rid of me, but they started making my life really difficult.
How'd they do that?
Calling me into meetings. The head of HR guy every time was just, he was saying like, hey, because of what you're doing, he said something crazy. He said we give patients surveys about us, and apparently some of the surveys from these patients were coming back saying, well, I liked the hospital, but there's this guy on social media who's saying all these crazy things, and because of that, I don't really like you guys as much.
That's not a thing.
And because exactly, I didn't believe it either. But because he said that because they were getting these determined how much funding they get, I was literally losing the hospital money.
That's the other bullshit move these guys do. They go, I talked to somebody and whatever.
Isn't that crazy?
Bring them in here.
The show business version of this is you talk to the lawyer and you go, why can't we? Crank Yankers was called Prank Puppets. That was its original title. prank puppets, and they do this move where they go, I was a little worried about the title, so I went down the hall and talked to Herb Wasserman. He about fell out of his chair. And they do. It's like you never had that fucking conversation. Fuck you. No one ever wrote you shit. It's so full of shit. Yep. Because how could it go any other way? You now have. It's the same with schools. It's like we used to have, 20 teachers for every one administrator. Now we have whole divisions of equity and and inclusion and shit like that. Well, they're gonna find shit. That's their job.
It's a department.
They're fucking beavers. You put them on the fucking roof of the Empire State Building. They're gonna look for wood to build a dam. That's what they do. So you're gonna, of course. Otherwise, if you say, well, you head up this department and you're the Maytag repairman and no one ever comes to your door, like, what do we need you for? Like, aren't you going to get shit canned? You got to be busy. Right. You got to make work for yourself.
And you just to get this straight, just so we're all on the same page, you didn't create this account to troll the place you worked, right?
No. So the place I worked gives us a very specific pair of scrubs that has the name all over it. I took that off and I said, no, there's no way. Like, I'm not trying to represent them at all.
So you just did it nude, right?
Right.
No.
I get you. Because you're going to get more clicks.
That's true.
Mostly dudes, but you'll get some chicks in there.
I really fucked up on that, Adam. That was a golden idea I fucked up on.
Can you give an example of something that was not controversial that you put out there that people were really into? Just so we kind of understand.
The first 4 videos, I think the 4th video went super viral. I talked about getting a COVID test in the ER because people, it was, what was it? Yeah, it was people coming into the ER and complaining about COVID. And, some of the questions we would get would be like, do you keep the COVID patients in this hospital or is there a separate hospital just for COVID patients?
Oh.
Right? Mm-hmm. Or it's like, was this bed used for COVID or what? Do I get you a new one every time I'm going to burn this one? It was just ridiculous questions where it's like, no, none of that happens. And if you really don't want COVID, stay home for a little bit. Don't come to the ER unless it's for something very dangerous and dire.
Time sensitive.
Yeah, right?
We should watch that video.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Yeah, you want to watch it?
Well, I feel like we can dance around it for quite some time, but ultimately,
we love your reenactments.
To get a taste of it.
You should. I think it was the 4th video. It was the 4th tips from the ER video. It's way all the way down. Do you want me to find it?
No, they're working on it.
They'll work on it. They'll throw it up there. So anyway, you turned your lemons into lemonade.
Yeah, no, I was the whole time I was just waiting for them to say something. I was ready. Like I was in my head every time I was in these meetings. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna flip this table, give you the finger, and just leave. You guys can't do anything to me.
Well, also, whether it's cops and firemen or airline pilots and vax mandates and shit, like, aren't we kind of at a shortage of nurses and folks? Are we looking for excuses to cut people?
It's called hero pay, and you're going to give them shit?
Right.
Oh, my God, yeah.
God, it's so big. Everything just gets fucked up. And then you get the big unions and the big reps and the big everything, and it just turns into a fucking tangled mess. And then you end up having these kind of conversations with people that are surreal, where they're like, look, I know you didn't do anything, and I know you're a good guy and you're good at your job, but you have to understand why we're here. And it's like, I don't understand because you just got done saying this. All right,
this is the COVID one.
We'll watch the COVID.
Tips from the ER. Things not to ask us when you come to the emergency room. Do you have COVID patients here? Yes! Yes, motherfucker! It is a global pandemic. You can most guarantee that we have fucking COVID patients in the emergency room. No, we do not keep them in a separate building. You are not that special. And I can most guarantee 100% that you will increase your chances of getting COVID if you come to the emergency room than if you did not. Tips?
That was it. That hit like 1 million in a day, and I just knew, like, yeah, I'm gonna quit as soon as I can.
Now, most people in cultures I know that are into nursing, their parents have thoughts about it. And did you have to sell your parents on, I'm getting out of this thing I trained super hard for and going into the unknown world of comedy?
Yeah, I've been training them for like 10 years. Like they, as soon as I got to college, it was just like, yeah, you got to do you know, you got to do something to make money. And the most obvious choice to them was like, go be a doctor, go be a nurse, work in the hospital. So when all this was blowing up, yeah, I just said, hey, I'm going to leave. And of course, they have no idea what TikTok is and what social media is. I barely did. But I just knew like, yeah, there's something happening here. And it's worth quitting this job for. Because I was going to go to nursing school. When everything shut down, I was applying to nursing school during, the COVID shutdown. Had a pretty good chance of getting in, and that would have been it. And I would have been in nursing school next year.
Well, nursing school, I'm a little confused because weren't you already a nurse?
I am an ER tech.
Oh, an ER tech. I'm sorry.
EMT.
I'm sorry. And you were because that's a good career.
Yeah.
Like they make
especially now
good money.
Travel nurses is apparently like where it's at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
where the
good.
money is.
It's always good and there's like headhunters trying to get you to go work for them and stuff like that. I mean, and it's also one of those jobs where it's like, look, if you do typewriter repair or saddle repair or something, you're getting phased out. But we got more fat, sick people and bigger hospitals and more. There's going to be more
nurses and prostitutes. You're golden.
Oh yeah, that's the gift that keeps giving.
That's right.
So then you quit. Did you tell them to fuck off, or did you write them a letter? Or how'd you do it?
No, I I was still in the phase where it's like, okay, I shouldn't burn any bridges. Like these people, I've been with them for 3 years. I still really liked the people I worked with, some of the managers, not all of them. So I just said, hey, guys, I'm leaving. See ya.
But it's not your first time you've worked with, should we say, the at-risk community. Didn't you work with inmates as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What did you do exactly?
I had a friend who I went to this theater conservatory with, and we were both in improv class and became TAs for the improv class. And he found a job through this company called Red Ladder, where they take improvisers into prisons to facilitate improv classes. For
You missed
inmates.
your calling, Adam.
I know.
You were at Let Us Entertain You.
I know. I was teaching
doing
comedy traffic school and party pals, but I should have taught this to inmates.
This is way better.
I heard. Yeah, I was listening to the Eric Griffin podcast. You did some. You were in like a troupe or something, right?
I was in many troupes and for many years, although I realize that everyone sort of thinks of me as a sort of buffoon who likes cars or something. But I would call myself probably trained if you did like just sort of hours of like class time and stage time and whatever. I probably have more improv sketch training than most anybody in this business. I did it for a million years. I never missed a week. We'd have rehearsals and writing days and show days. And I did it for, a decade, essentially, all the way through the Groundlings, Acme Theater, and then every other in-between class I took. So I have a lot of it. I just left at a certain point, and you never go back.
Use it in a different way.
Yeah, there we are, the Acme.
Oh my gosh.
The Acme Theater.
Why'd you leave? I love that shit. I
had to have I had two realistic conversations with myself in my career and my life. Now I have very delusional conversations with myself. But back then I had realistic conversations. I had my first one when I was like 21, 22, and I was like, you're a carpenter, but you're funny, but maybe you could do something with comedy, but who the hell knows? But maybe you should start trying at night. Don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
And then at some point toward the end of my improv, sketch, Acme days, troupe days, it was like my only family. It's like that's my home. That's the only thing I was good at besides carpentry. At some point, I was just like, where's this going? You're not Phil Hartman. Like you're not SNL material. You're not going to get to the next level. How do you get paid doing this form of comedy? You're good at it, but you don't do all the characters and all the voices. Like you're not gifted.
Yeah.
You're just good. And I was like, I think it's time to move on and go somewhere that would be a more realistic use of my talent, and maybe I could get paid.
Yeah. and that's hard to do, to move on from something like that. Because, we know people, I don't know, you probably do. I know people who are there, for a lot, and they are really talented, and still they're not getting paid, Some people
I
are
work
stuck
with
there.
some of the most talented people, and they never got paid. I just found out, sadly, that one of the best-looking, most talented guys I worked with killed himself several years ago. But super gifted. You know who's gifted in that group? This guy was gifted, and he looked like James Dean.
Damn.
And did 1,000 voices, and killed himself.
Oh, so you never know.
Yeah, so it doesn't always work. It does not always work out, but you got to be realistic. Like I was like, I love doing it. I'm good at it. I'm not Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know who Will Ferrell was back then. But
Knowing what I know now, because right before the pandemic shut down, I had a sketch show I had a sketch group that I was part of. I was doing stand-up comedy. I was working 2 days a week at the hospital. Wasn't making that much money, but man, I was like the happiest.
You were living.
I was the happiest I'd ever been. But like, I'm sure looking back now, like I couldn't do that again. Like having that reality, like I think you had like the realistic conversation you said with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now looking back, it's just like, man, there's so much. It's so time consuming. You love it, but man, it takes a lot out of you.
yeah, and then you're sort of like, am I getting better at this? Like, I don't know if I'm any better at it than I was 3 years ago. I'm
spinning my wheels.
Doing a lot of repetition, and I had nowhere to go. But at a certain point, I left the theater I built. I physically built the theater, and I just
Power move.
hung it up. And I just went back to a rented house in La Cañada, La Crescenta, actually. And then I just went out, tried to do stand-up. Wasn't any good at it. That was about it.
Are you still doing stand-up now?
Yeah, I am. I got better at it, but I that wasn't happening either. So it was not a good time. Then the earthquake hit, and all the shit went down. And
all this time, you could have been teaching prison inmates.
I could have been teaching prison inmates. Yeah, how did that? Well, first off, are they putting you in with the worst of the worst?
Yeah, we went to a lot of different prisons. But yeah, some of them was just, it was during my orientation for these prisons, it's like, hey, like we don't shoot warning shots. Okay.
Jesus.
Oh,
Christ.
really?
So if anything happens, like,
Yeah.
no warning shots.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty heavily, there was pretty heavy security. And it's so funny, like during orientation, they also said, okay, whatever you do not fall in love with the inmates.
Okay.
Really? But what if one of them's a dreamer? I would raise my hand.
I was like, what are you talking about? I've never fallen in love with the inmates. But then she continued to explain it, and it made sense. These guys, like, the only, you talk to them and you start trauma bonding very easily, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens was someone who worked at the prison fell in love with the inmate, and he asked her, hey, can you just bring me like an iPod Shuffle? I love music. It reminds me of my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So she was in love with this guy. So she did. And then he blackmailed her because you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
So
Right.
you'll go to jail. So he said, okay, I'm going to show this to everybody unless you bring me an iPhone. Right.
Oh, boy.
Fast forward a couple months. One morning, she's sitting at her desk. Security walks up, tells her to stand up, lifts up her shirt, and there was just a million iPhones taped to her body, ready
Wow.
to give to these inmates because she was just so fucked.
Oh, boy.
Because it
scared.
keeps going.
It keeps going,
Like,
yeah.
that dude's like, I need a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I want
Yeah.
the Goldwing style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's either that or you go to jail.
Right.
Wow.
So do not fall in love with the inmates.
And were you teaching both male and female inmates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, male and female
Interesting.
inmates.
I'm looking at a picture here, and it looks they're pretty proud. There's like certificates. You complete the program.
The guys are great. Like the guys are amazing. Like I loved being there.
Because you have to be pretty vulnerable to be pretty good at improv, and I think that'd probably be pretty hard for like macho dudes.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them really wanted to be vulnerable and to play. Right? We didn't do like the long form Herald
Right.
improvs. We did the games. Right? And the games are really fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And the whole point is like, okay, we're going to improv you so you pretend to be like a policeman, a fireman, a gym personal trainer. It starts to get them thinking like they can imagine a world beyond prison. Mm-hmm. Like who are they going to be outside of this to give them some, keep the faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, improv should be taught like I've always said, like the school system. I had a bunch of cooking and sewing classes. Took 25 ceramic classes, like stuff that has no application anywhere outside of the school or even inside of the school. And I always said, like taking how to balance your finances or, change a flat tire on your car or something like that kind of stuff. But they should do improv too, because it's a basic form of communication that most people have not mastered at all. And just we all know those people where you're talking to them and you go, oh, so let me tell you the other day, and they go, no. They like keep yelling no at you. And I went to the groundlings. I want to fucking hit them with a chair. Like, stop saying no. Let me finish what I'm saying. Yeah. Yes. And but it'll help on a first date. It'll help on a job interview. The husband and the wife it's just a better way to communicate. It's like you communicate your whole life. Why not get a little training in communication?
Yeah. It teaches you not to shut them down. It teaches you to go, okay, I hear what you're saying. Well, what can I do to add to this to make this better?
Right. Did you ever have to hit the floor during one of your sessions?
Yeah. Yeah. We were, and this was, we were leaving this.
Was that riot or blowjob? I'm thinking riot, but I feel like people at home.
I was thinking blowjob.
Well, you said you can't fall in love.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
What did you mean?
I thought we were talking about a riot situation.
No. I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay.
So either way, did anything ever get sticky?
Yeah. Yeah. We were leaving the class once, and we were going into the yard, and out of nowhere, these two guys started beating the crap out of another inmate, and shots just started firing.
Wow.
And everybody and all the inmates immediately got to the ground. That's what they're trained to do. Sit down. If you're standing, you're going to get shot.
Right.
So everybody sit down. And I was with like 4 other teachers, and I don't know what got into them, but they stood and watched. I ran back I was the only one that ran back in.
Oh my God.
And
they didn't tell you to sit the fuck down so you don't get shot?
Yeah, no, I have no idea what was that. We were behind a gate,
God.
but at the same time, I ran back into the classroom.
Good.
And they ended up wounding one of the guys of the 3, and the other guy was taken off. One guy was walked off, and another guy was taken off by like a stretcher.
Oof.
Is that like guard tower type stuff?
Yeah.
Or
sniper tower?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Were they like, Steve, get a tourniquet?
No. No one had any idea I was working as an EMT.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, the whole place looked like freaking Hogwarts. It was crazy. It's Folsom if you look up.
Oh, Folsom.
The Folsom.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
Crazy.
that's
you guys know.
Folsom Prison Blues.
Yeah, well, what people don't realize is there's old school prison, and then there's these weird ones that are just out in the desert, and they have a lot of chain link and barbed wire and stuff. I've been to those.
It looks kind of like a big box store.
Like it just doesn't
like
have the
Shawshank.
what prison vibe, but Folsom does. All right, let me hit concrete here. This stuff is good. I take it every single day. Your body makes half the creatine it needs. The other half comes from your diet, except for most American diets. Well, they're low on creatine-rich foods. Concrete, patented creatine HCL. It's a favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes, the #1 bioavailable creatine, and the only microdosing creatine. Just 1 small scoop per 100 pounds. It comes with a little scooper and a nice little container, and you put it in. It's got a nice lemony flavor. I hit it with the frother, and you can feel it as soon as you take it in. Creatine is required for functional energy in every cell. Your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body, and it's great for your immune system as well. Dr. Drew loves it. So let's get some concrete, right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-cret.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card. Available now online and in-store Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
Stephen O is going to be found, or Ho, I should say, Stephen Ho, shall be found at the Ontario Improv, August 18th. So that's coming up if you want to go check that out. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Steve I Is that correct?
Yep.
And thanks for coming by. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's great.
We'll do trending topics with Max Zapata right after this.
Adam Carolla's 6th book and audiobook. Everything reminds me of something. Advice, answers, but no apologies.
I would like the 2 flags at the top of the goalpost to communicate a little better. There are 2 ribbons up there to show the speed and direction of the wind. They're only 18.5 feet apart, yet one will look like it's in the middle of Hurricane Katrina, and the other will be DOA. One is having a seizure and flapping like one of those inflatable guys outside of the car wash, while a mere 6 yards away, its twin brother is flaccid. My NFL would get on top of this ribbon situation. As commissioner, I'd commission a blue ribbon commission.
Everything reminds me of something. Available now, wherever finer books are sold.
It was brought to my attention that the audiobook is 8 hours and 34 minutes, Dawson.
Sounds about right.
Is that the longest one we've done?
Close to it, if not, yeah.
That's an odyssey.
I don't remember. I
just remember the one that came in at 7 hours, 59 minutes, and 43 seconds. That's the one I remember the most.
That's the one where I went, look, we got to get over 8 hours. So if we can get over 8, we get over 8.
Yep.
Yeah. We came in 7:59:43.
Is this your longest book?
No. No, it's the only one that I've done where I've hit every single chapter to the best of my knowledge in terms of the audiobook. It is the longest. I would talk so much about other shit that I'd skip over whole chapters in the past.
Oh, that's right.
So people kind of liked it, but on the other hand, I didn't cover everything that was in the book. This was just the book.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Adam's audiobooks are different from the actual book. You're going to get extra content. Yeah, because he'll think of a tangent and he'll just go off, and that could be a whole other chapter.
All right. Do we have an intro?
All righty. So just a quick update. Last time I was in here, we talked about Sesame Place and Rosita and those poor kids who Rosita was basically given the hi-hat.
Snubbed.
Yeah, snubbing the kids. So, yeah, just a 9-second video just causing a huge stir. So, quick update on that. So, now they have that class action lawsuit. And Sesame Place has agreed that they're now starting training to address biases, promote inclusion, and prevent discrimination that's mandatory. So
right. So we're going to hire another fucking college asshole who's going to find this shit now because it's now their job.
Well, that's the thing. Are they admitting that it happened, or they're just wanting this to go away?
Well, it's just in response to the videos. Right. They're not admitting that it happened. I don't think that'd be very smart of them.
Well, did you see? Maybe you have it. The video of
that's coming up. Okay. Yeah. So also SeaWorld CEO, because SeaWorld owns Sesame Place, is scheduled to meet with the Brown family alongside Adam's favorite, Reverend Jesse Jackson, tomorrow.
God, these fucking race hustlers. It's so awesome. Yeah, everyone's scared to say anything about these guys. They're fucking race hustlers. They get rich off of causing this, and they're fucking ruining our nation. But other than that, they're heroes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, this doesn't happen at Disney World.
Far from it.
Tell you that. So video surfaced now of the Disney parade at Disney World, and you see the characters from Toy Story. So you see Woody walking down, and then these girls see Jessie. That's the girl cowboy.
Cowgirl.
The cowgirl. Sorry, cowboy.
And have you seen this? It's fantastic.
No.
Oh, so they're screaming for Jessie.
Watch Woody.
There's music in the back, so it's kind of hard to hear.
There's an African American family waving at Jessie.
Jesse's on the other side.
See them.
Yeah. Oh, Woody's got to go get Jessie.
Yeah.
This is the new.
Get over there, Jessie.
This is the new world order.
Hugs.
Yeah. Everyone's got to overcompensate. This is the. It's sort of the mascot version of like when you're talking to a black guy and you realize you've used the word man 22 times in the last 7 minutes, and you never used the word man.
I do that, and
Everybody
hate it.
does.
I don't know why. Or say bro. Oh, what's up, bro? Like I don't talk like that all the time. What am I doing?
And at some point, you'll slide into watching basketball. Like you go, hey man, I was just watching basketball with some of my bros, man. Man, we fucking love it.
Yeah.
We love it, man, bro.
What's
Bro,
up, dog?
man. Yeah. Does everyone have a friend or know someone who is measurably nicer to black people is overcompensation? Like if the woman who works at the Starbucks behind the counter is black, this person will compliment them on their hair or something like, look at you, I love that hair. Like they'll say something that they would never say to the red-haired chick.
Yeah.
You know what I do is rather if I'm greeting a black person, I do the hand shake, but like
the clasp.
the clasp, and then we go in for the hug. I don't know why that feels more natural.
Get in here, man. Hey, man, tip off for Clippers, about 15, man. All right, man? We're going to check that out, man.
Are you talking about black dudes that you don't know? Like you're just being introduced?
Yeah,
like the guests that come in.
You have to hug it out.
Sometimes I don't know why. Like it's not. I don't mean anything bad by it.
I found myself, if, white hobo comes up to me, I was like, get a job. Black guy's like, let me see what I got. Because I said this on Loveline 1 million years ago, and I mean it. I go, for every legitimate racist that exists, there are 150 white people overcompensating because they don't want you to think this is the society we're living in. They're actually doing shit I wouldn't do. Like, if I was, I had this reaction. I don't think you were with me, but when I was walking through Manhattan, and there was a black driver. I said, and he was like turning, and it's like a white guy was like walking, crossing. I'm walking here. Hey, how everyone gets all fucked up. Like, what are you doing? It's like, you're in the street. Cars are in the street. I drive a car. You're walking. Sometimes we're going to commingle. He didn't hit the guy. He just kind of got close, and the guy, when he was a white guy, he like turned around. He's like, "What the fuck, dude? What the fuck?" And it was a black guy driving, and I was like, "Going, hey, dude, shut up, shut up. He's gonna fucking think that he's gonna blame me. Yeah. I'm gonna get fucking blamed for this shit. Like, that's a black guy. Now
you're ducking in the
if
back.
it was a white guy driving, I was like, fucking let him have it. I don't give a shit. So there's an overcompensation.
Somewhat subconscious, maybe.
Hang around, find that person who gives out more compliments, who just the strangers, you know what I mean, who's nicer, hugging it out, who is doing what Woody's wife
Jessie
did, just running over there.
So which is it? What do we do?
Well,
what's the correct?
Look, Jesse Jackson has a dream. That's to remove money from corporations on a daily basis and fucking pad his coffers. Martin Luther King had a dream, which is we didn't treat anyone any differently. Right. We didn't even see it.
Right.
That's the whole point. You weren't supposed to see color. Like you weren't, when I was talking to Sonny at the Chinese food place 5 years ago, and he was talking about the Greek freak.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
Giannis.
This was 5 years ago. I didn't know who the guy is, and he's like, that guy's got a wingspan of 7 feet. He's got a vertical, whatever. And I kept going, black guy, and he'd go, he's Greek, and I'd go, oh,
okay,
Greek guy with the dunking on everyone all day, and like, yeah, but a black guy, right? No, he's Greek. He just kept going because he didn't see it. Like it wasn't, he didn't notice the difference between or whatever. It wasn't a thing for him. Now he's a full-blown racist. Don't get me wrong. I worked on that.
Yeah.
we stayed at that restaurant for 7 hours until I got the job done. But so we can hug again now,
Yeah.
But the goal was not to see it or factor it in, not to have separate dorms for black kids, not to have separate graduation for black colleges. That wasn't the goal. The goal was not to see it, not to overcompensate or undercompensate or do way too many mans and bros and hug outs of strangers. That wasn't the plan. The plan was we don't see it.
Yeah.
But but it gets woven in, equity. I mean, it was all over COVID, so we're going to take black people and brown people from certain neighborhoods and we'll prioritize them getting shots. That's not the plan. The plan is even. We don't see it. But somehow it's turned into a fucking cottage industry. Now all we do is see it.
Once again, we're a long way off.
Yes. We pulled ourselves further, but because of race hustlers, Benjamin Crump and Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, that they make money off it. It's an industry. There's a fucking industry. You have to hire these people to come in. These are good jobs.
I know these were many, 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 many decades ago, but they were all like friends with, or at least friendly with Martin Luther King, right? Like they knew each other. So what were they like then? I mean, how did this happen?
They need jobs, and the job is essentially over, so they're creating work for themselves.
So
they lost their North Star.
Right.
That's right.
Now, do you think if Martin Luther King lived, he would go this way, or he'd still be the icon?
I think he'd never
saint?
stop throwing up if he came back and saw what this fucking state is and how everyone's, if he found out about Jussie Smollett and all that fucking shit and all the stuff we're trying to do to create everything all the time, he'd probably hate it.
What about because
he'd definitely get a sneaker deal though.
Oh yeah.
Who wouldn't fucking buy it? You'd have to, otherwise you got to overcompensate.
We'd all be wearing the same. Yeah, we'd all be wearing the same shoes. So, when if you're at a dinner party or something and you met a new couple, I almost 10 times out of 10 when I say bye to the girls, I always hug them.
Yeah.
Rather than shaking their hand goodbye or anything. But the guys maybe a handshake, but I always give the girls a hug. And I think I grew up just always having to hug a girl because shaking the hands felt weird. So I think that's the same thing. Like I don't think it's a race thing as it is just a social norm in America now.
Yeah.
You get
You're
hugged
still
a lot,
thinking
don't
about
ya?
your clap hug.
I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this.
Yeah, you're a race hugger. Those guys are race hustlers, but you're a race hugger.
Okay, well, I'd rather be that. I'd rather be that.
Work on that, man.
All right. There's a video that's been going around today. Little League game, Texas East versus Oklahoma, and they're playing in Waco, Texas, for the Southwest Region Championship. Texas is pitching to an Oklahoma batter. Gets a little high and inside.
Oh, right in the head.
Hits him in the
helmet.
head. Yeah, got him in the helmet.
The kid's not doing very well.
If you look in the slow-mo.
No!
Yeah.
It knocks his helmet off.
A couple of spots on the helmet. I don't know if it got his actual skull. I mean, still, you're going to feel that, right?
Yeah, you get a
And so
contra coup.
the pitcher is now distraught. And the batter, he takes his base and he sees the pitcher distraught and just walks over to the pitcher and decides, I'm going to comfort this guy because he is, look at him.
Oh, he's crying.
Black pitcher?
No, both white.
He
Lily
might
I
white.
know,
hug
he's
a
getting
white
the
guy.
hug. Yeah, I know. This guy's better than me. He does it for everybody.
Wow.
The pitcher's crying because he didn't want to hurt the guy, and
That's right.
the guy who just got beaned comes over and gives him a very long embrace.
This has gotten millions and millions and millions
Good.
of views. Say everybody's loving the sportsmanship. He goes to the pitcher, he gets in his ear and just says, "Hey, you're doing just great."
Oh,
And tries to make him feel better. You know, people in the
Mom's
stands are
crying.
crying.
Mom's crying.
Yeah, and so
When did Little League baseball turn into a real thing?
I think it's
Ask
Texas
Teresa.
sports.
I played for 5 years. No one gave two shits.
dude, Teresa's kids are like massive like on the travel team, crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I turn
it's a
on the
thing.
TV set. They got the goggles, the
Yes.
VR goggles for hitting that they're advertising on.
Oh, they take it very seriously. Yeah.
Travel teams.
Yes.
Everyone's got their own equipment now. Just your own equipment. Like when I played, it's like you got the fucking jersey of the kid who died last time, got hit by a truck, and it's like, oh, it's still okay.
Oh yeah. End of season, you have to turn in your jersey.
Yeah.
You'd
it's
get
mildewy.
shit issued to
Yeah,
you
sure, of course.
all the time. Like, you didn't have our own. You had your own mitt. You probably didn't have your own bats and balls and stuff. That was all just their shit.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
show up and play and then ride your bike home.
Yeah.
You know what I can remember the smell of, and I'm sure you guys can too, because mine was secondhand. But when my brother would come home with his school-issued football pads, the
Yes.
smell of
Yes.
those styrofoam football pads and like
Yes.
the cup, all the boys. Did you guys do this? I saw a lot of his
Yes.
friends put it on your face and like rub it up and down,
Yeah, you had to.
like make the noise.
Well, it looked like what a pilot would wear in a
Yes.
jet fighter
Yeah.
if you inverted it.
The smell of those pads, I can smell it.
I had I had all the pads. I had them all issued to me. I had a very small house. We did not have a dryer. We had a washing machine, and hygiene wasn't job one for me, nor my mom. And that shit was it would be sopping, soaking wet when I'd come home. I sweat through everything, the practice shit. It was a shit goddamn show, and it always smelled super funky town. I mean, you could wash the jersey, but the shoulder pads always had funky town.
Right.
You had a girdle that smelled total funky
tell me
town.
about
It was all, I can smell it now. It's so many years of smelling that.
Locker rooms. How do you think coaches do cup checks now in Little League or youth sports?
How they used to just stack tap you?
You sack tap, or you just knock on it as they walk
Really?
by. Yeah, because you had to wear a cup. At least in the leagues I was in.
With a bat?
I'm just saying, you know.
Vito's saying they do it with a bat sometimes. Just tap on it.
We
Really
we always lined up. We'd line up outside of the high school gym for the weigh-in. This is Pop Warner. The weigh-in in high school, they didn't really enforce. Like, I didn't wear butt pad in high school. It just looked ugly. I was like, I'll take my chances.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. But I wore the thigh pads. But in high school, they didn't check. In Pop Warner, they checked. You line up outside. Mm-hmm. Every high school out here has the same exterior in the San Fernando Valley. It's all you'd play. You'd go from Burbank High School to North Hollywood High School, to Sun Valley High School, to Chatsworth High. Every single one of these motherfucking schools was built between 1931 and 1944, and they all just looked like prison, military, barracksy, bunker, all the same weird beige and avocado colors, weird screens on the windows. Nothing. I mean, again, the biggest revelation of Columbine for me was, this is horrible, and holy shit, you got an elevator and like 3 stories and stuff like that.
An atrium?
Stuff was barracks.
Yeah.
Everything was just barracks. Everything was the same. Bathroom ceilings were unnecessarily high. I don't know why. You'd walk down in the bathroom, like a 12-foot bathroom ceiling, not sure. Every window slid the same way. Every door was the same. Every tile was the same. Every piece of architecture, the football field, everything's laid out exactly the same way in every one. And you'd go to the outside, and the outside of the gym, where the lockers were and where the gym was, the basketball gym was, and like the weight room was, would have this long cement ramp, because they all had like this long cement kind of porch with a weird metal thick railing on it and like an overhang. And you'd walk up this ramp and you'd line up against the building, and the ref would put you through hit your pads, and the cup would be knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
And then you would weigh in. And when you weighed in, our football coaches were kind of crazy. They wanted you to yell your last name and say, sir. So the guy'd have his clipboard, and he's got the names and the numbers, and he's weighing everyone in to see if you make weight, because you're playing Gremlins or Mighty Mites or Tiny Mites or Farm, Bantam. Anyway, everything had a weight limit. And they just set that weird old doctor scale to, 120 pounds, and they didn't touch it. They didn't weigh you, just walked on a scale. If you tipped it, you got pulled out. And they just go, who's next? And you go, Carolla, sir! As loud as you could. And then he'd look at the thing, and then you'd weigh in, and he'd check it. And
I'm so glad they didn't do that at Weight Watchers. Much more discreet. You get on, someone's really nice. They just write it down.
I was talking to Natalia about, like, coaches, and, there's the new world order with kids and stuff. It's like, well, our coach is mean or something. And I'm like, that's their job. That's what they do.
Our coach is a coach.
The coach. They tell you what you're doing wrong, and they try to fix it. And the one thing that I realize doesn't fly now in today's youth, and when I say youth, I'm going all the way up to 35, is coaches constantly criticize you for shit you didn't do. That's part of the game.
Like just eating it?
You got to eat it all the time. Like if you go up there, if you're snapping the ball and they're in the shotgun and the quarterback says it's on 2, And he goes, down, set, hut one, hut two, and you snap it, and the quarterback's got his hands by his side, and the ball hits him in the chest and falls on the ground. You'll get yelled at, and then you'll go, hey, he called it. I don't care who called what. Get the fuck back out there and don't fuck it up this time. Like, they'll just find out whoever they want to yell at, and they'll yell at you, and you got to eat it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was you. He finds the person who's closest to or the person he thinks or whatever, starts yelling. If you mount a defense, you're doing laps. That's how it goes.
But if the whole point is to find out the problem and correct it, don't you want to know who?
Once they start yelling,
not in the moment.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's that.
Well,
yes.
Speaking of sports, you watching Hard Knocks? Did you watch
You
watch it yesterday?
Oh, that guy's a yeller.
I haven't started it yet. Who's the team?
Right now they're doing the Lions.
Oh.
Detroit. So new season started last night, and everybody's talking about the rookie defensive lineman, Aiden Hutchinson. So he went up and he first they asked him, what was your signing bonus? Because they kind of got to initiate the new rookies. And he says, I got $23 million signing bonus. And the place just erupts, right? They're like,
23
no
million?
Way. Yeah.
Or 20. They say 23?
It's a 23.
23.
Yeah, and he's a number 2 overall draft pick, and he's a Michigan guy, too. So, but now part of the initiation that they do on Hard Knocks is you got to make the rookie sing. And so he goes and he does this little ditty, and everybody's going nuts about it, saying it's one of the top 10 moments. Cousin Sal says top 10 moment of Hard Knocks.
He had to restart it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep. So they're kind of warm, like a little cold to it, but they're like, okay, they're feeling it now. Okay, here they come. It's got moves. And nobody knows his lyrics anyways. Okay.
It's good. He knows his audience.
Yeah.
Because I remember my rookie hazing. I was like, I had a little dreidel.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
I made it out of clay. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, come on, man.
This is the clasp and hug of songs.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a perfect example. This guy's a redheaded white dude in Detroit.
Damn. They're going nuts.
Yeah, so now the entire...
Now, do you think a black guy would get up there and do some Ted Nugent or Hank Williams?
Yes, Hank
No,
Williams.
he doesn't. That's my point. We're overcompensating.
Yeah. You know what I love to play that at the end of the video again, Ben. Watch one guy gets so pumped that he takes off his shirt in the second row and he throws it.
Oh my God.
And a guy catches it and just starts. He catches it without even looking and just starts waving
That's
it.
great.
It's so good. Well, everybody loves this moment. They've been talking about it all day. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson singing.
No one has
Billy
found it problematic or anything?
No,
yet?
no,
Wow.
they are loving it. They
Wow.
are loving it, and they are loving Aiden. So good job, man. Everyone's loving them. But you know who they're hating right now? Tyra Banks.
Why?
she
Is she
do?
still around?
Unsurfaced footage.
Oh, unearthed.
Unearthed.
Oh yeah, excuse me. Resurfaced, unearthed footage. This is from America's Next Top Model.
Oh, this is one of the best.
Yeah, so
I already
she's-
know what clip
Yeah,
this
so
is.
she's talking about Robin Manning. She's like 26 at the time during cycle 1 of the series. A TikToker named Hot Girls Europe put up this compilation.
She's calling someone fat or something
Broadcast
good?
in 03. Oh, yeah. Here,
She used to yell at these
it's
girls.
her and all the other judges, too. Janice Dickinson. Go ahead, play. Let's listen to her criticism.
I think for Robin, it must be hard being among girls who are so skinny.
Felt a little bit
it had
bad
to
for
be
Robin
weight.
because she is the bigger up down here in the hips and thighs than the rest of us.
Okay, Robin?
Now, are we shooting for the large size category?
Yes, Robin would represent a plus size model.
One problem that I do have with
Yeah.
Robin, I think
Robin
on the
looks pretty
top
good.
she's not
Like-
plus size, and on the bottom she is.
Robin's maybe a 4.
Robin's out as far as I'm concerned about being a supermodel.
That's waist size, not hot scale.
Absolutely not. Well, that's my humble
Why?
Because
Okay.
I think Next America's Top Model is not a plus size model. I'm sorry.
I just wish her upper body was bigger and matched her lower body better.
See, yeah, it is about 90 seconds.
Like, why can't you? If you want to be covered?
She looks hot.
This is saying, oh, I've got hips, so I'm covering them up. Why are you crying, Robin? Talk to me. Why
Why are you crying, Robin?
It is. Robin, first of all, is too old to be starting
And fat.
model.
She's huge. She's not going to be a
that's a
top
rough-
model.
She's a size
She should
4.
work for a car toppling company.
Robin is a fabulous girl, but you know what? She doesn't trust her own body.
Robin, I don't know what she's doing in Paris.
I don't have a market here for Robin. You know, there's no market for plus sizes in France.
Robin, you were supposed to have a nude photo shoot. We don't have a photo for you this week, and why is that?
I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. My body is mine. I just didn't think that, that is what I needed to do in order to get ahead.
I'm kind of disappointed that you didn't do it. I was sort of expecting this kind
We
of,
really wanted to make fun of you.
Botticelli image. You know, I was sad that you just kind of didn't put yourself out there, representing women of a different size.
I realize a lot of people are like, I was sad that you didn't do a nude photo shoot. I realized I would be distracted or pissed off, but I never would be sad.
Yeah.
That would make me sad.
That's an emotion. Like, that's a weird
Why
emotion.
are you
to
sad?
Be. Yeah.
You're gay. She's dressed. You'll make it.
Yeah,
You'll be okay.
all right.
You'll be all right.
I thought it was the one where she screamed at the girl, which is the best. But here's, you know what? In the interest of being intellectually honest and fair, I've said this many times on the show about jokes and about comedy. If you listen to a comedy album and you hear a joke that would not fly today and the entire audience is laughing, move on, because it was acceptable at the time. Well, we're talking about a chick who is literally a size 2, maybe a size 4. I was a size 4 in high school. Maybe a size 4.
That makes me sad.
Oh, are you forlorn and crestfallen?
It's just sad that you're a size 4.
Yeah, I was really tiny.
Are you sad, Chris?
I'm really
Are
sad.
you guys sad?
Yeah.
I was really tiny. Anyway, this is not now. This is the way we talk to people. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong.
I know.
It's bad, and I feel sorry for them, especially in retrospect. But this was a game show where this was acceptable at the time. So why are you blaming Tyra Banks now?
I don't know.
And
she makes me sad.
Exactly.
Too.
And a lot of people are saying that you can't. Why are you bashing Tyra? This is a whole industry that was doing this, right? So
this was an entire society that signed off on the fact that a size 4 was a plus size model. You think Tyra made this up?
Well, also, sorry, everyone, but we have standards of beauty, and once in a while there's a show to try to figure it out. And it's like, look, they have huge custom auto shows all the time. They have the Riddler Awards, the most prestigious custom whatever. There's a standard. They find the car that looks the best and they give them an award. They don't fucking pull up there in a bone stock fucking Yaris and go, hey man, it feels like it's an aesthetic. It's just an aesthetic. We have aesthetic awards that are given out. And so it's like, what if you were a model and you had really bad skin? Would we?
They've been on Top Model.
Would we be able to pipe up? I mean, would we go, hey man, you got to clear that up,
Look like Ray Liotta.
We don't want to photograph you.
Right.
Like it's an aesthetic thing. So it's like there's an aesthetic. We've agreed on it. At some point, the makers of Dove tried to talk us out of it, but we weren't listening. But we had to pretend like we were listening. Like all shapes are beautiful. All whatever. Okay. Riddle me this. Find me the guys. Who are the guys who have the greatest access to snatch? World-class, grade A snatch. Who?
Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt.
Pete Davidson now, maybe sadly.
Snuck in there.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Who's Tom Brady with? A fat ass?
No, model.
Who? Let's look at Pete Davidson's fucking dance card.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking chunksters.
No.
Bad skin, fat ass.
I mean, fat ass, yes.
Well, plump ass.
Right.
If you got enough hog, you can go there.
That's right.
She doesn't need butt pads either.
My point is the world-class cocksmen, who are they fucking? What do they look like? And Dove, shove it up your ass. Because they decided. They can get whoever they want. If Johnny Depp wants to be with Lardo, then he may be with. But you're trying to foist this societal shit on us. We're like, hey, this is the new, Lizzo's the new. All right, find me George Clooney and let's go back a little bit. Like, who was Robert Redford fucking when he was 23? A plumper? Find me all the hottest, find me the greatest fucking cocksmen in the world, show me their fucking girlfriends, find me one fat ass, and then shut the fuck up. Shut up. They've decided. They can get whatever they want. Dove, you can talk all the fuck you want about, and thank you for sponsoring the segment. You can talk all the fuck you want about what beauty is in your eyes. I got proof.
Yeah.
Tom Brady can fuck whoever he wants. What does she look like? Pear shape?
She looks like Giselle Bunch.
Little bit husky?
More like a celery stalk, yeah.
Oh, well, that's the person who gets to fuck whoever they want to fuck. And you could go, I don't know, go see who Jamie Foxx is fucking. I mean, go to any culture. I will show you a hottie. I will not show you a plumper.
But there's a lid for every pot, and for us civilians,
yes,
we all find our match.
Yes, but so Danny DeVito gets Rhea Perlman, but Dove, that's not our new standard of beauty. Stop foisting this shit on us. That's my point.
Can I give you the one exception that proves the rule? I just saw this. Ben, I don't know if you have it yet, but Pierce Brosnan, his wife, when they first met, fucking smoke show. She looked like, what's her name from that you guys are in love with from Elizabeth Hurley. She kind of had that vibe. And as years have gone by, she looks like a gorgeous middle-aged woman who has her hair and makeup professionally done. And there are these red carpet photos of them, and he's like, fuck all you guys. I think she's perfect. I love her, whatever. And you know what? God bless. He's Pierce Brosnan.
He's packed on a few. You're still making my point, which is she was a smoke show when he met her.
Yeah.
Dove wants us to have him meet her now and try to fuck her.
I see.
Why don't we get Danny DeVito and a few other guys, and we start pushing them to be the hot guys in society?
Yeah, turnabout is fair play. Yeah,
let's see how they feel.
Zoftig, male pattern ballers. That's the look, Dove. Or maybe Gillette. Maybe we can get Gillette to pump this up.
But when you're standing on a stack of hundos, you're pretty hot.
That's true. But we never try this shit with men because it's too fucking laughable.
Oh, please. All of a sudden, there's a phrase called the dad bod that was formed 5 minutes ago, and you're all fucking proud of it. So it all evens out.
No, dad bods are guys that were formerly cut who went on vacation and
let themselves
carb
go.
loaded, but they still look good.
Yeah.
I'll take dad. I would take dad bod would be an upgrade if you saw me step out of the shower. I will take it.
I'm down with dad bod. I'm just saying all of a sudden everybody's got a lot of excuses on both sides.
I agree. My beef is with Dove and all the other assholes who have to pretend like fat is some sort of new beauty standard, and it's not, because we're animals and tough shit. You can't talk us out of shit. That's who we are. It's sort of like when they get pissed off about, like there's a lot of guys that are like, I don't want to be with a woman who used to be a guy, and then everyone gets all pissed off about it. It's wired into us.
Right.
Good luck.
Well,
that's the way we are.
It's funny. There's the change is there, but it's so microscopic. Like, remember, because I think we talked about this recently, in the 80s and in the 90s, when you were telling someone how beautiful someone was, you added, oh, she's perfect. She's blonde. She's blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Nobody says that anymore.
No, tall. Yeah.
Aryan.
The real question for the dudes, we got to have this. We got to put this down on paper. There are transitioned men who went to women that just fucking knock it out of the ballpark.
Oh my
I was just thinking
they knock it out of the ballpark. Usually, they have an ethnicity with their skin's a little darker and they're a little tighter and a little less hair on them and things like that. Now, look, you take your average Joe Sixpack dude and the super hottie trans chick, if we're not even allowed to say that anymore, and you give us that on one plate and you give us Giselle Bundchen on the other plate, they're all going Giselle Bundchen 100% of the time.
If they know.
Yeah. For my experiment, they know.
They have to know.
But at some point, what if we started bringing Giselle down? What if we dropped down below an 8, into the 7s, into the 6s?
Right.
At what point does the average guy stop? Now, the average guy probably I'm just talking about coitus here.
Right.
Average guy's he's still going the 7.5 versus the transition 10. That's probably average too. But as you keep heading down,
we go to like TLC programming with my 1,000-pound sister and like that kind of stuff. Does it start changing in terms of would you rather take the 10 who maybe didn't start out as a woman?
Oh yeah, we're going down.
That's what I'm saying. Eventually, we get to the point.
We're not even going to get. We're not going to get. I don't think to the TLC 600-pound life thing before most guys jump ship.
Yeah.
Now, at a certain point, you always know it's a good hypothetical. At some point, all my hypotheticals. At some point, people stop and go, can I drink? That means I've hit my fucking target. I'm over the target when people are asking for booze in the middle of this thing. But I think we're not going to get down to my 600-pound
So where
life.
do you think the cross is?
Well,
That's
look,
the
we
magic
got to
question.
weed out the religious zealots or whatever of the group. You know what I mean? Yeah, we gotta.
Well, have you been? I mean, you've been surprised. Like some of these trans girls who were previously men. Like I'll scroll through like Twitter or something. Like, oh, that girl's really pretty, and then I click and it's like, oh no, I was a guy, and then I just sit and kind of reflect.
Yes.
Like, how did that make me feel?
Yeah. Hey, man, hug it out. So I don't know. I'd say
What's your threshold?
I have never considered it, but I would say once we dipped below 7, I'd start to give it some thought.
So you're like a Kinsey 3.
Yeah, I'd do a little tire kicking,
good
like
for you.
How long, you know what I mean? Are you a Rams fan?
7.
You know,
I'm
good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not.
I like
I'm not
that.
committing.
No, I
don't
like
want you to
it.
go
I'm
out
not
there and
committing.
hustle up examples. But I'm saying, I don't know. Let's just go a little extreme. Once you get down into the 4s, now where are we?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think I'm a 3 or a 4, but I think it's just because I'm ignorant, and this is just
Adam
so
is
new.
so much more open-minded than you.
This is just so new right now. It could change next year when.
But you have to.
I'm not used to this.
You have to picture an actual 3 in their underpants, and then the one that looks like the top model in their underpants over there.
Now, for women, it's funny because there's trans men, and a lot of them are really pretty. We've talked about pretty guys before, so that's kind of a no-brainer.
I'm curious. I need an answer from Dawson right now, and I will not accept no number or a 0.0.
Dawson gets the vibe,
and I'm not saying I'm stopped at 7, but I'm saying as we go below 7,
you start considering it more.
Start to think about it. Dawson?
Well, first of all, I'm not quite sure I understand.
I knew you would.
However, I did see a transvestite that was the most attractive woman I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So
now
you
we're
get it.
talking.
We were in Buenos Aires.
Wow.
It was an Alan Parsons tour. And
Of course it was.
Me and Danny, the drummer, went outside to have a cigarette after dinner. And coming down this alley in Buenos Aires was this 6'7" monster of a woman about 30 yards away from us. And then on either side were what I found out were her muscle, 4'10" dudes on either side of her. And both me and Danny are just sitting there smoking, and our eyes catch this girl just getting closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, Danny, it's a dude. Danny, it's a dude. It's a dude. And the most beautiful man I have ever seen in my life.
No.
Holy shit. She was a knockout.
All right. Well, we're gonna need to compile some numbers here. So this is gonna take a while. I'll
Vito, take a poll.
I'll try to commit.
I know you don't want to stick with it. I am loving your 7. I love it.
Again, I'm dipping below, but the question is how much. Now, look, we have to find what a 7 and a 6. We have to find out what represents that.
And I could do a 7. I just need to be a little more enlightened, Gina. It's still so
it's
new.
A cultural thing.
Hey, I'm not blaming
it's
you.
It's a comfortable thing. I don't
just
know.
because I'm praising Adam doesn't mean I'm putting you
His
down.
mom's still devastated he's not a nurse. When he finds out he's fucking a dude. All right, let's bring it home, Max Better.
Oh, yeah. Check out the Water Cooler podcast.
Yeah. All right, there's Geico. Do you rent your home? Well, sure you do, and it can be hard work. You know, it's easy. Bundling bundling with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around the house. Let's go to geico.com, get a quote, and see just how much you could save at geico.com. All right, quick break. Back with a little news right after this.
I don't know if you've heard about this, so let me just put this on our radar because it will be coming to a vote in the next couple of days. The Los Angeles City Council will consider passing an ordinance soon that would house homeless people in empty hotel rooms. And if it passes, every hotel in LA will have to report their vacancies by 2 p.m. each day. Members of the Unite Here Local 11, they're the ones behind the initiative, say they've already gathered 126,000 signatures in favor of it. Council members could decide to just put it on the ballot, or they could just approve it outright. The initiative indicates that hotels who don't do this and don't accept the vouchers will be sued. Could be sued. Many hotel operators, of course, are unhappy. A, they're going, how do I protect my guests and my staff if we don't get to decide who stays here? And B, when's the last time you were ever allowed to check in at a hotel at 2? It's always 3 or 4. They don't have that count by 2. So that was kind of seemingly maybe a little bit of a shady way of getting this done. And if this goes through, the hotel experience in LA may be very different.
They're such fucking idiots. I've said it a million times. They're calling it homelessness, and we keep calling it homelessness instead of addiction or psychoses.
Right.
We keep calling it homelessness, and so we're treating these people like they're stray dogs who need adopted. They need a nice family. You know, that's what they want. We want to get them out of the kennel and get someone. Yes, if that's the situation, then a nice family will work. But taking the junkie from the street and putting a roof over their head does not solve the underlying problem of why they're sleeping on the fucking street. It's just so fucking nuanced that they can't fucking understand it. And what the fuck with like the LA Times and the Blue Ribbon panel and the commission or whatever. I told that fucking retard Gavin Newsom 9 years ago in this fucking place. I said it's crazy people and junkies. And he's like, Adam, but let me tell you about the real face of homelessness. A mother of 3 who has a minimum wage job. Like, who is that, you fucking retard? Do you really think that? Is that what you think?
Is that what you see when you're driving your car through the streets of Los Angeles?
Oh, I'm a homeless advocate. First off, go fucking home and blow yourself, you fucking homeless advocates. You don't do shit for homeless people. And then secondly, why the fuck are we listening to you? Because you've anointed yourself? You've anointed yourself? Yeah. Can I see a fucking certificate from homeless college that you went to that made yourself a fucking expert on homeless? You just anoint yourself. And then so we keep calling it this with the help of fucktards like Gavin Newsom. And then we get into this role. We're like, okay, we got to find a room for these people. Yeah, you find them a room and they'll just fucking do drugs in the room.
Well, and that's what happened with Project Room Key, which they want an extension of. That was during COVID, saying, you know, get these people off the streets, get them in a room.
But bigger picture, Los Angeles City Council, Mayor Garcetti, Gavin Newsom. Should we really have another ordinance to not have businesses come in and do work in your town? Do you know what this would do if you ran hotel chains? You just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't open a building in Los Angeles. It'd be suicide.
Not even a building. What convention would come to town, you know, and from people from all over? What the Olympics is supposed to be here. How is that going to work?
Jesus Christ.
Now, I have a solution.
I've been in, as we just spoke of yesterday, just being in there with marathon runners is fucking enough for me. I almost slept on the street.
That's right. Now, my particular solution is if you're part of Unite Here Local 11 and you have a home, now you just got an extra guest, an extra tenant.
Fucking idiots.
You know what I mean? Like, by all means.
It is so scary that this is their problem solving is like, we have a pandemic. Good. Everyone stay home. Shut down the beaches and cancel the schools. And no more outdoor dining. Oh, we got a homeless problem. Let's open up the hotels and put the people like this is how you solve problems? Jesus fucking Christ. All right.
And again, I'm always shocked about how much worse the city gets and how much more unaffordable it continues to be. You'd think that one would balance the other out.
They're out because they want to be out because they're fucking junkies and they can't go into the shelters. And the mother of three, who evidently has a minimum wage job, according to Gavin Newsom. I don't know why she's homeless, but she works full-time at a Burger King. She's the one that's on the street, even though that's
not my experience in the Valley.
Literally the face of homelessness that as Gavin Newsom said to me, the real face of homelessness does not exist. His description has anyone here, and we've passed through 200 million miles of homeless people and homeless encampments. Has anyone ever seen a mother of three wearing a fucking Burger King outfit? No. So, first off, how would we even begin to scratch the surface of a problem when for some reason our politicians and the advocates and the city council can't identify the problem correctly?
Well, and that's the thing. Like you said, if you look around, by all means, create meaningful programs.
Yes.
This ain't it.
No, it ain't.
All right. Do we have time for one more?
One more.
I just want to pay off what I said at the beginning of the show about this recall. You have a Ferrari or two.
I've had.
Okay.
I do not currently possess a Ferrari.
Good thing. Ferrari is in the process of recalling nearly every car it has sold since 2005. Ars Technica reports that the problem is, now you may have to explain this, but I'm going to read it, is the cap of the brake fluid reservoir.
This is good news for every fucking loser who has to go out on a first date in their mom's 88 Tercel. Which,
you should have been here last week.
They climb into the car. What the fuck's going on? Oh, you didn't hear about the Ferrari recall?
Yeah, had to send it back.
Shit, don't even know when I'm getting that shit back.
Well, the cap is designed to vent pressure if necessary, but evidently it's not working. Venting can fail to happen, causing a vacuum to build up, resulting in a possible leak of brake fluid. And if you don't have any brake fluid in your brake lines, you aren't going to be able to stop or slow down. The fix is very simple: a new brake fluid reservoir cap and a software patch that lets the driver know if their brake fluid reservoir is running low. But everybody's got to go back to check if it's their car or not.
Yeah, brakes are good in a Ferrari.
The more you know.
But I realize whenever I go to Malibu, I see these guys in these crazy Ferraris and Lambos and stuff, and they just go 14 miles an hour, stuck in traffic,
That's what
down
that car was made for.
and they never ring that out. But speaking of Ferrari, tomorrow, Frank Grillo, who is playing Lamborghini in the movie, and after that, Michael Mann, who's doing the Ferrari movie in Italy when I interviewed him. So You can look forward to that. And now we can bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I'll throw that in post.
All right. There's the Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode. The Jordan Harbinger Show. If you're a fan of fascinating podcasts with interesting people, you should definitely check it out. There's an episode for everyone. No matter what you're into, Jordan talks with Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter. Or you can go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful to apply to your own life, like routine, life changes to boost productivity, or slight mindset tweaks that change how you see the world. We enjoy the show. Jordan's a super interesting guy, and I think you're going to enjoy it as well. So you can search it out. The Jordan Harbinger Show. That's HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to finer podcasts. It's the Jordan Harbinger Show. We have a staff. I don't have. When's our next? Let's get into it after the break or something.
All right, we can do that. Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah, really deep dive.
I really want to know about this staff poll of the he-she.
Now, remember, we have to figure out what that number coincides with. You talk about a 7. We got a lot of research to do over Dark Week.
Yeah, we're going to need to pull up a 45-year-old Sarah Jessica Parker or something, or someone who represents a real-world 7.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, the greatest tip of the cap I get as a hypothetical constructor is a flip-flop where they go one direction and they go, I'm not going to change my mind and go there. That means I'm fucking right over the target. And can I drink is the ultimate. I'm done. I've done my work. All right. You can go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Coming up, Salt Lake City, Wise Guys, 26th, 27th. Rob Schneider, you can just shoot him a tweet at Rob Schneider. Find his dates at robschneider.com. Stephen Ho, you can check out his Instagram and TikTok and YouTube at Steve IOE. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Gina Grad and Stephen Ho and Rob Schneider saying mahalo.
Guy's better than me. He does it for everybody.
Wow.
The pitcher's crying because he didn't want to hurt the guy, and
that's right.
The guy who just got beaned comes over and gives him a very long embrace.
This has gotten millions and millions and millions
Good.
of views. Say everybody's loving the sportsmanship. He goes to the pitcher, he gets in his ear and just says, "Hey, you're doing just great."
Oh.
He tries to make him feel better.